All right, good morning, folks. Welcome to the Breakfast Club call. My name is Randy Webb, Chairman 25 in this organization and Forex trader. We are enjoying our time with the strategy that we're doing today, folks. As you know, over the past 7 weeks, we've been doing this Breakfast Club call, using this strategy, using this technique, and what I call the high probability confirmation checklist. We have not lost a trade. We're knocking on wood on that one, but as long as we're adhering to disciplines and adhering to this checklist, it's been absolutely powerful. Multiple folks have been doubling their accounts, tripling their accounts. As you know, I always say that this is a doubles game. And so if you're on here and you're brand new, I want you to think about this. If you learn how to double your account over the next week or over the next month, all you have to do is do that again month after month. And before you know it, you will realize that when I say it's a doubles game, if you can double $125 to $250, guess what? You can double $1,000 to $2,000. So, I remember watching an episode with one of my mentors where they really just broke it down. No matter what you did financially, if you could find a way to multiply your money and double it, if you had $1,000 that you could start with, basically doubling that 10 times would get you to a 7-figure income. So you can make $1 million with $1,000 if you doubled it 10 times. So we have a platform, folks, that allow you to double your income on your own pace. And so we're going to show you a powerful strategy with the Webb analyzer called the ECC-11 strategy, created by my mentor, Dr. Kathy Kirkland. So if you're brand new on the call, you got on here because you have the Webb analyzer added on. So we obviously want to use that. So we're going to show you exactly how to use it. So like we say every day, with this strategy, when you open up your Webb analyzer, you're going to have to choose your own strategy. So go down where it says strategy. It's going to say select template. You're going to click on that. Okay. You're going to go find Dr. Kathy Kirkland ECC-11 strategy. You're also going to turn on your cha-ching sound if you want to get that money sign every time an opportunity happens. Click save mobile, save settings, and then it's going to come up just like my screen looks right here with the cloud and all the candles here. Okay. The next thing you're going to do is go to the top left right of the chart. You're going to find Ichimoku. You're going to change the settings on that. Normally it defaults you at 9:26:52. You're going to change that where your conversion line is going to be 6, baseline 13, lagging span 26, displacement 13. Change your style. It's turn the conversion line to red, baseline blue. Go down to save as default to ensure that you don't have to keep on doing this over and over again. It'll just save your settings. Click OK. All right, once that's done, you're all set up and you're ready to go. And then just giving you just a quick outlook of how the Webb Analyzer works. You have your big news events here. I'm also going to show you another platform you can look at before you start trading. And then you're going to go to trade ideas. Any trades that are thrown are here. So typically, I'll throw trade ideas here during the afternoon or during the Tokyo session. So yesterday we had a trade thrown out. This one just went berserk right here. So anybody who had AUD JPY, went back for a little bit and then literally it just plummeted. So you guys caught the pips out of this trade here. And if you kept staying in there, you caught maybe well over 100 pips in AJ. So absolutely powerful there. Then you can trade different things here. So Forex, cryptocurrency. You can trade the indexes here. And you can also trade gold, silver, platinum. Okay, all your metals here. So we're going to trade Forex today. So we're going to go to this first one here. All right, so let's go ahead and get started, folks. We're going to jump right into it. And I'll train. Now we're going to look for opportunity. I'm going to train in between our talks here. So let's just see what we have. So first thing, let's see what news we have before we get started. So USD news at 6:30. So just an orange photo. We'll just kind of adhere to that. Currency strength meters. Take a quick look what we have out there. AUD weaker than JPY. So we're going to look at a couple of these things here, and let's go ahead and jump into it. All right, confirmation checklist. One of the first things that we look for. If you've never did work this with me, there's 5 confirmations that we're going to do. If we don't get the 5 confirmation, we don't enter the trade. First one, we look at the trend, number 1. So we're going to look at the M15 chart, okay? If we're looking for a sell opportunity, we want to make sure that it's below the cloud. So M15, H1, H4. Okay, we want to ensure all those are below the cloud, and they are, right? H4. Day chart, and I'll tell you, JPY has literally dropped out of the sky. Wow, this happened overnight because this was at 70 something. I see that it went even lower. Oh my goodness. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. All right, let's go ahead and I'll be selling AUD JPY for 10 pips. So we're selling AUD JPY for 10 pips. Now, I'm sorry, you know what? We just looked at NZ. I'm selling AUD JPY as well, but I'm also selling NZD JPY. I just thought about that. We just looked at NZD JPY. AJ is also the same. So I'm selling actually AJ. So AUD JPY for 10 pips. We're doing that one. We're also doing NZD JPY for 10 pips. All right, so NZD JPY and AJ for 10 pips. All right, so my entry for NZD JPY is 67.992. TP is going to be 892. AJ, we're already in the blue. All right, so we're in blue on both of them. All right, so my AJ is going to be 71. My entry is 71.137. TP is going to be 10 pips from entry, so my TP for AJ is going to be 71.037. All right, there we go. So yeah, both are in blue, 10 pips a piece. Let me give you, always give a TP too. So let's take a look. You guys already see me go down to, now as far as NZD, you see me go down. I'll tell you where you can take that one too. Long term for NZD JPY. So NZD JPY, you can look to take it down to about 6.7. Let's say 67.200. Remember, after 10 pips, make sure you lock in your stop loss in profit. So I always say we're going to get 10 pips, definitely knock that out. Don't just assume that it's automatically going to go down to 67.200, but we can take it down to that location there. But make sure that you're locking in your profit as it's dropping. So I'll try to do every 10 pips in increments as far as bringing your stop loss or trailing it. All right, so that's what we have for NZD JPY. Let's take a look at AUD JPY real quick. So for AUD JPY also, make sure you lock in 10 pips. So once we get down to 10 pips, make sure you lock in as well too, prior to 10 pips. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at some other things here. So I had those already on cuff. I know I was looking at those last night, so I actually jumped the gun with I was looking at NZD, JPY, and AJ and kind of mix the two up, but they're both the same. They're both the same there. So we're gonna grab 10 pips with those two, and let's go ahead and look at our next things here. So just know when you're looking at the web analyzer, you need to get the cha-ching sound here. So let's look at EUR, USD. I jumped in those trades. We're probably gonna grab 10 pips before this session is over for those two. So let me walk you through actually, you know, what I seen there. So let's talk about NZD, JPY. So the full checklist. So starting with number one. So the first thing I looked at obviously was the trend. So I was sure that everything is below the cloud. Here's why we do that. I want to give you 4 layers of basically protection. I'll tell you why it's been such a success. Everything dealing with the cloud is really considered, just keeping it very simple, considered a support and resistance area. So when price is below any line on the web, on the Ichimoku cloud, just consider that that's resistant. That's a ceiling that is above that price. Right? Anytime that the cloud and the lines are below the price, that's considered a support area. So when I go to each chart, M15, H1, H4, day chart, all I'm giving you are 4 layers of resistance when we're talking about a sell opportunity here, right? Because these red lines, and you'll hear this, the red line cross over the blue line, it's an indication of a sell, especially when it's below the cloud. Well, even better, when everything is below the cloud on all charts, it's just giving us that protection. Really, you know, I can't say guarantee, but we say what? High probability checklist. We are also trading with the trend. Anytime that price is below this purple thing, this cloud, that's what we call it, okay? It's considered in a downtrend. Anytime that price is above that, it's considered an uptrend. So if you realize on all charts, we enter in an ultimate overall downtrend. That's how we enter this chart here. So even when we get caught in the pullback, I'm going to give you a perspective. This is why I love pullbacks. You're going to change the way that you think about them. When a pullback happens, I look at a pullback, it's more money going into my bank account. You see, let's say, for example, we're in this trade here. If we just happen to be caught, and I don't really call a pullback until it's like about 20 pips or more. Okay, that's what I'm suggesting is a pullback. Anything less than that is just kind of push, you know, pulling back a little bit, then it's going to drop. But a pullback, let's say we go back about 20 pips. Let's give that example, okay? Let's say we enter on the 15-minute chart. We thought we were like going to get it in. You know, maybe it would probably pull back to this area and then drop. But let's say it doesn't do that. Let's say it pulls back up to, and this is not even that far here. Let me see, what is that? Okay, this is about 20 pips here. Let's say it pulls back to our tanks in here. Now this tungsten is a ceiling. If it goes back here, it's gonna tap it and then it's gonna drop again. What typically I do, so if I go in for, let's say, a 0.50 lot size, you're gonna use proper risk management. Make sure you don't over leverage your account, folks. Now, I know that some folks, I see your accounts sometimes, and there are some of you that are over leveraging. Do not over leverage your account, because there will be an instant where you will have to do this. Let's say it pulls back 20 pips here, okay? Well, typically what I do is I go through steps 3 through 5, which I'm gonna explain to you. And that's get in on the pullback, wait for 2 to 3 retests, wait for price to move in your direction, check the currency strength, and then execute. So if this happens, we go through those 3 steps, we get our 2 to 3 retests, boom. I hit another position. I do half of the original position that I did. So if I did a 0.50, I'll do a 0.25 at the top. Okay, this is the technique that I use. A 0.25 at the top. So here's what that means now. I'm gonna catch the other 20 pips that we pulled back on. So I'll catch those 20 pips. Boom. I'm at entry at the amount that I actually enter my trade at, and then I catch those 10 pips as well, plus my original 10 pips. So ultimately, instead of just getting 10 pips, I get 40 pips from that whole move. So if it pulls back 20, I get 40. If it pulls back 30, I get 50. You get that? And that's how I look at pullbacks, folks. So it's something that's going to force me to basically get extra money. Okay. So we're going to talk about what a retest means, and here's what I'm going to tell you. If you're brand new on here, I forgive you. If you're not brand new and you've had access to the academy, everything that I'm going to teach you is nothing new. Everything that I've learned has come from the academy. Make sure that you plug in to your 100 series, 200 series, so that when I'm talking about some of the things on here, it's just automatically clicking for you. You know, plug into technical analysis. So some of the high probability confirmation checklists for that, you know, Christopher Derrick actually talks about in detail in the 4th video on technical analysis. So definitely catch that. Absolutely powerful. So a retest, we'll talk about that. So number 1, we looked at the trend. Okay, we ensure that we are trading with the trend and only the trend. I never trade the pullback, because if you trade the pullback, you don't know when the continuation is going to happen. Let's say that you started buying here. You don't know when this is going to continue down. So there's always an impulse move, correction, continuation. Okay, so this is what's happening: impulse, correction, continuation. So what happened was, let's say you bought here. You don't know when to get out. You bought here, you're like, I'm gonna get all these pips all the way up, and then all of a sudden the continuation happens. Now you're caught here, and you don't know when this trade is coming back. Okay, so that's why we trade with the trend. So if you're brand new, trade with the trend for right now until you get really good. Me personally, not being brand new, I always trade with the trend. So that's why today I can say that we have a 100% success rate, because we're following this checklist here. Number 2. The support and resistance area. So automatically, I was already ready for this. This came out earlier, but the web analyzer is going to give you your entry and support and resistance area. So you're going to automatically place the entry point there. So for example, let's go ahead and put EUR/USD there. Let our traders do what they're going to do. So looking at EUR/USD, this is calling for a sell, for example, on the 1 hour. Now, no matter what it calls here, I'm going to always go through the same exact strategy, same exact technique. So we look at the M15. Automatically, I would throw this one out, right, because it's above the cloud. Okay, but we're going to look at it. So looking at this one, M15 is above the cloud, H1 is above the cloud, day chart is 4 hours above the cloud, and then day chart not above the cloud. So here's where I would stop. I wouldn't do this trade because it's right here. Remember, I said every line in this strategy, every line in Ishimoku is considered a resistant or support area. So we just had several layers of support, and then we get to our day chart, we have resistance here. If price moves up, it is going to reject off, and I don't know when it's going to reject off of this. So I don't want to get caught in this continuation. It hasn't broken structure here yet. This would be the previous high. So, or actually it probably broken structure here, but we're still going to wait because this may shift down before actually going up. Okay, so this is where I would stop my trade, but let's just go through the rest. So number 1, we look at the trend. Number 2, we place our support and resistance line out. So let's just say that day chart was above the cloud. We would take our horizontal line, place it somewhere near the entry. We would edit it, click edit, okay? You look for this box here. You're gonna click this gear, and we're gonna put the suggested call price out, which is 1.12069. So 1.12069. We click OK, and then puts our number there. Okay. So now we have our support and resistance area. So this is why you see how I called it for a sell. This is why you don't prematurely hop in. We're gonna wait for certain things to happen before we hop into any trade. Okay. So, but this is our entry point. Okay, that's our number 2 step. Number 3, we got pullback. Okay, we're gonna wait for the pullback before we enter. If there's no pullback, there's no entry. Because if we don't wait for the pullback, here's what happens: you get caught in it. And sometimes we can't avoid it. Sometimes I'll make a call, and maybe we might get caught in a 10 pip, 20 pip pullback. It's rare, but it does happen. So we get caught in that pullback, and then we'll have to do our thing. So let's say we were looking at this for the buy, for example. Okay. We want to wait for this to have, and this is a pullback happening right here on the smaller time frame. So if I go to the 5-minute, this is considered a pullback. So we want to wait for some type of pullback here, and then off of our entry point, let's say that our entry point was a little bit closer. We wait for someone asks, what are the retests? So let me go ahead and bring this up. Let's say that they call our price here. Okay. So let's say that that's our support and resistance area. So really what happened, price bust through it. It was once resistance as a ceiling. It bust through it, became support. So this will be 1 retest where price came down, went back up. 2 retests, price came back, it wicked back up. You see that? 3 retests, price came down, came back up. Right, and then what happened? Our number 4 step. So number 3 would have been fulfilled here. 2 to 3 retests off of this line here. And then finally, price moving in our direction that we want to trade. So we would have executed. Now, this does not meet our trade standards for the high probability because of the day chart. But we would have executed our trade, which is number 4, okay? But before executing, we would go to our currency strength and make it make sense. We would go currency strength. What I would want is make sure that EUR is stronger than USD, and it checks. So therefore, boom, we would actually be able to execute that trade. The only reason we're not doing this one is because of this day chart. And I'm telling you, folks, if you could just listen to this part here, this will be a game changer for you, right? Can you catch 10 pips? Absolutely, you can catch 10 pips in this situation. So just know if you do this, just put a stop loss in profit. Put a stop loss at some point in here, just in case this thing pushes down and you miss out. Because once it goes down, it's not coming back. Okay, it's gonna come back after maybe 100 pips or so. So you don't want to get caught in this. So now, as you guys see, you can go ahead and drop the 7s in the chat. We're heavily in profit in our AUD JPY, NZD JPY here. So what I typically do when we go 5 pips or so in profit, if you want to do this, this is going to drop and hit 10 pips. But if you want to, you can always bring your stop loss about 5 pips in profit. Just in case the thing pulls back, you can hop back in, enter that trade there. Okay? Boom. Awesome, awesome, awesome. In the blue, folks. All right, so that's how we do this. And I keep it simple. This is what's going to keep you disciplined. So this is bigger than a checklist. And the reason that I teach this way, I used to be a C-130 pilot in the Air Force. Every time I hopped in our aircraft, I would do the same thing every single time, right? I'll do my pre-walk around. So I'll walk around checklist before I even enter the plane. We did a checklist. When I entered the plane, we did our pre-checks, before takeoff. All those checklists we went through, and I never missed not one step. If we miss a step, then things got broken and people get hurt. So same thing applies when we trade. If you miss steps in this trading tool here, you might find yourself in heavy pullbacks. You might find yourself where you're in a trade for way too long, or on the opposite end of a trade. So this is why I follow this checklist, and it takes out the emotion, right? When your steps are met, execute. It takes away your fear. So what I'm telling you, if you're brand new on here and you can go through these steps, when your steps are met, execute. That's it. Okay. Now here's another thing I'm going to give you. So price, you're gonna see price go up and down. So one thing when I'm looking at whether we're in a pullback or not, let's say that the price goes negative, you start getting a pullback. One of the things that will give you a warm fuzzy. So for example, we're in NZD and AUD JPY. You see these two are both weak, which is great, and JPY is really strong. As long as this doesn't flip heavily, it's just a pullback. I know yesterday we got into AJ, for example, and I always see it. I always see it in the comments. I never answer because I just want you guys to go through the motion. If I don't say anything, that means I'm still in the trade. All right. So as long as this doesn't, if AUD went way up and then JPY dropped way down, then I'm gonna go look and see what happened. I'm gonna see who spoke. I'm gonna see what news hit, and then we're gonna see if structure is broken. As long as structure is not broken, that's one of the criteria. All right. And as long as the currency is probably weaker or is not heavily stronger than our currency that we're trading against, then we're going to stay in that trade. It's all good. It's still just a pullback. And so that's what gives me the one for fuzzies when I'm actually trading. I don't worry about the pullbacks. So we already got AUD JPY call for us. We're already in that trade. So this is good to see there. Okay. So let's go to GBP CAD. So when a new low or new high is made, and so it's a new low because of how many years it's been, but what I do is I just expand the chart. So if it goes to a new low, like all these are at a new low, AJ and NJ, I'll go to the weekly and I'll see how far the trade has went down, and I'll take the money line and I'll follow it to the past, bump it to, and I'll go to this to show you how I see TP2s and 3s. I go to the past, see how far prices went down. I'll see where those reversal areas are at. Okay. And then you guys see me do that. I went on the weekly. All right. And I'll see how far we can go. That's why I said, we can take AJ probably down for 50 or 60 pips or so. We can take NZD JPY down probably for about 100 pips, if not more possibly. So that's how I look at our trades there. All right, so GBP CAD called it for a buy. So let's go take a look. Same thing applies, right? So what's the first thing we do? We look at the trend. So we look at the M15. We look at the H1, okay, above the cloud. That's awesome. We look at the H4, okay, above the cloud. We look at the day chart, not above the cloud. So we're waiting here. Here's where it's an overall downtrend. So it's on the pullback here. So expect this one to actually change later, right? We're on the cuff, so this may respect that and actually push down. So we're going to wait for that one. So this is why it's important to look at the day chart, okay? Day chart is very important. It's going to give you the overall trend, and it's going to let you know whether you're in structure or whether it's broken structure. Okay, broken structure happens here. So whether you know it or not, for those that have been on with me over the past month, you've been learning about market structure. Okay, I've just been teaching with the cloud. So here's market structure, right? This trade is in a downtrend until it breaks this high right here. Once it breaks this high here, we're no longer in a downtrend on the day chart, and our trend is changing. As you go through the academy, you'll learn things about the Dow theory and the Elliott's wave. I'm not going to talk about that here, but definitely dip into the academy to learn how each of these waves move, right? When we start from the top here, it's like a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then, 5 waves, sometimes all the way up to 9 waves. So when you start understanding that stuff, it's just extra tools in your bag to actually trading. Okay? But as of right now, only thing you got to know about is how this cloud works. Everything below the cloud, it's a downtrend. So next trade. So now I'm gonna kind of go through quick analysis. This is you can analyze any trade that you want to get into, folks. So this is called the high probability confirmation checklist. If it doesn't meet your checklist, then don't enter the trade. Right? M15, right? Above the cloud, they're calling for a buy here. H1, above the cloud, looks good. H4, above the cloud. Let's see, day chart. Oh man, above the cloud. Okay. And just for giggles, let's see what we got here. Oh man, we looking good here. So EUR AUD. So we're looking at that one, right? So let's go ahead and put our second part here. Okay. We throw our line out. All right. It says the call price is 1.66765. We click OK. All right, that's our support and resistance line right there. This is our entry point. Price is sitting right on it, okay, which is powerful. Also know that the cloud, you see this, we call this, I'm going to just break, there's 5 lines in the cloud, by the way. Okay, there's 5 total lines, right? You have your Chico span, which is this money line. This is going to show you what's happened, how to set your previous highs or your previous lows just by looking at the charts, okay? Also, you have your Tangsen and your Kinjisen. So the Tangsen, which is your red line, called the conversion line, and your Kinnison, which is called the baseline, your blue line. They're considered signal lines. Anytime that they cross, they're going to give you an indication of a sell. So if this crosses under, that's an indication of a sell. If it's above the cloud, it's a weak sell. If it's below the cloud, it's a strong sell. All right, if you get the cross up, right, red line cross above the blue line above the clouds, considered a strong sell. Below the clouds, considered a weak sell. Then you have your other two lines. You have your lead 1 or sequel span A, and you have your lead 2 sequel span B, this red line. Those are significant in what makes up the cloud. They're all support and resistance lines and areas. So it's powerful that you look at those prior to making a decision to actually enter a trade. Okay, so here's what we're looking for here. And I'm gonna actually look at the 5 minute just to give it a little. There we go. So pullback already happened. So this is our impulse correction, what continuation. So here's looking at. So we got our line here. 3, we're gonna enter on the pullback. So the pullback did happen here. It already kind of pushed up. What about? So from this line here, so it already pushed up about 10, a little bit more. It looks like it's already pushing. This is a new candle that just lit up. We can actually, let's look at that last one. So that one was EUR AUD. So EUR stronger than AUD. Let me see if I want to, let's wait for this one a little bit. I want EUR to be a little bit stronger. Let me see what AJ, they're all, AJ is all over the place. I see it going up and going down. Okay. Okay, NZD, we're gonna get let me see, we're probably gonna get that pullback on NZD JPY. And then, let me see, AJ. So we're gonna get a pullback on both, and then you're gonna get the drop on both. If you put your stop loss in profit, you probably got out in profit first, so you can re-enter. If you got out in profit, if you didn't, no big deal. It's going to pull back and it's going to drop again. So this one, as you can see, we didn't enter off this, and it was great because we got the pullback happening now. So this is what we wait for. Okay. Yeah, AJ is fine. This is not. So remember what I talked about? Pullbacks are going to happen. Pullbacks are part of the process. So those things are going to happen. No big deal. I already told you my concept. If this thing goes to a 20 pip pullback, which is most likely it may just be 10. I'll tell you, anybody who's traded with me knows that a majority of the time when you trade, it's rare that you'll go into a 20 pip pullback. Most time it'll be about 10, maybe 15 pips. Don't look at if you're looking at how much money is negative on your account and that's affecting you, I want you to make sure that you're not over leveraging. Because if you have a large amount compared to how much you have in your account, you're over leveraged. So I'll just tell you what I personally do. When I trade my account per trade, I'll typically, or for the whole thing, I'll do about 5%. Okay. So if you have, for example, if you had $1,000 in your account, you can use a 0.50 would be about 5% for that trade. And I'll say, especially being brand new, you don't want to go into another trade. Let that one close out and then enter another trade off of that, or be ready for a second position. So like, for example, if AJ did move back 20 pips, then I would enter a second position at 0.25, which would be about 7% of my account that I'm using. Okay. I know there's a lot of questions. I'm going to answer some questions as we get through this. I want to get like one more trade in outside of the JPY trades that we have. So we're looking at this one. So we'll come back to EUR AUD. I would like for the euro to be a little bit stronger, so we'll see what we get from there. The greatest part is EUR goes stronger. We want AUD to drop even more, so that's going to be powerful. So that will pop up in all of our trades, push exactly where they're supposed to go. So just taking you to AJ. So for those that are in AUD, JPY, and NZ, they're both doing the same. So here's the pullback right there. Okay, strong pullback actually. But okay, remember we talked about this? Everything's all good. AJ, of course, definitely did a little bit extra. So came up a little bit of energy, still lower than JPY, so no big deal. Look at this as extra money if we do get our 20 pip pullback. This is on the 5 minutes, so let me go to the 15 minute. This is the 15 minute. If it goes beyond this, so obviously these are all resistance area. It may respect this area. If it doesn't respect this, then we go to the 1 hour. And so this is going to be the place that it pulls back to. It'll probably respect this and then finally give its drop down to this point here. Okay. All above the cloud, all below the cloud. Okay. Even on the day chart. And then obviously day chart, this is going to happen way later. So this is all good. All right, so waiting on EUR AUD. Let's take a look at GBP AUD. We're in NZD JPY for the sell. So for those who weren't, if you got out or those who weren't in, obviously this is going to be a good entry point. You're right at the very top of it. This is the actual pullback happening here. Okay. All right. EUR AUD moving back up. So I'll take a look at that one. Let's do it quick. And I was just let's look at everything real quick. 15. Okay, that one's done. See how that worked? It was already below the cloud. We didn't have to worry about it. EUR AUD. Let's take a look. So that dropped back in the cloud. So here's when we're gonna go to put our deal out. Let me see, make sure no other trades were called. I think we looked at GCAT already, so okay. Once again, we look at the price, 66765. Click OK. Okay. There goes our entry. So we're waiting for, obviously price needs to go above that. Now price is now in the cloud. Okay. So obviously we won't trade here. So we need for it to come back above. That's this area 2 to 3 times before we're going to enter this trade for our buy. Okay. And then once we buy, we look at this money line, right? We go to the top. Where's the money line reverse at? Right at this point here. Does that give me 10 pips? Absolutely. That gives me, let me see, from here, 7.7 all the way up to so definitely 10 pips. This whole move, wow, this is so we can definitely take this up to 1.6743. This is that 100 from where it's at right now? I believe this is 100 pips. So just from our entry point, 7.8. Let me just keep this simple. We're gonna go to this tool here. $65 pip move, folks, is what we're looking at here. Okay. So that's what we're gonna catch here. 65 pip move. Definitely get your 10 pips in. Okay. And then anything after that is all gonna be extra. So that's what we're looking at here. And let me show you the power behind this entire trade. So we're gonna let it's gonna do its thing off of this text in here. It's gonna test. I never trade inside the cloud, so we're still gonna wait for it to come above this area here. All right. We look at the 1 hour. Remember, it's above the cloud. This is powerful. Look what it's coming to. I want you guys to see this long term. See that? And this is the great part too, is what we're really looking for. This is when this crosses above this blue line, above the cloud, it's a buy. If price is above and it crosses over, it's a buy because we already checked all the charts. So that one is just going to give you the validation, go into the trade, execute. It's a buy. We're going to catch our 60 pips on this. And this is actually a nice trade, folks. This is a perfect book example of an impulse. Okay. For those who have already went through Forex Advanced, you already know what I'm talking about here. Impulse, correction, okay? What? Continuation. Done. right? Then obviously to create a higher high, it needs to break structure. Once it breaks structure, it goes to higher high and it creates the uptrend continues. Okay, so absolutely powerful. This is why you've been trading market structure and you didn't know it. Yes, we're still in AJ. We're absolutely still in AJ. So we're in AJ, folks. Yes, yes, yes. I will tell you if I ever get out of a trade, I promise you, I will tell you I'm out of that trade. We are in this one, and I'm pretty confident it's going to hit. My current TP for AJ, for those who are new, my TP is 71.037. My original TP for AJ, 71.037. My NZD TP is 67.892. All right. No, no. So I just seen when someone said when red lines at the bottom, it's a sell. So what we're looking at this, when price and everything is above the cloud. So we're not going to do anything yet until we see, you know, what I would like to see. Either it has to retest off of this, but really what's going to happen is this red line is going to cross up on the 1 hour. So what I'm looking for this next, we got 14 minutes left on this candle here. Okay. In 14 minutes, okay, a new candle is gonna come up. Okay, depending if we're not already in based off the next 15-minute candle, which is not, it's already pounding against this. So we're going to wait for it to go here, wait for the pullback off of this entry point here. And what I'm looking for, since we already have the cross, we're going to wait for this to cross up, and then we'll enter the buy. So EUR AUD is going to be a buy for us once we enter the trade. I will tell you that offhand. Everything looks good. We're all, EUR is getting stronger. And there we go, right? But we're not going to get in. We're not going to be, this is the fear of missing out right here. We're going to wait. Man, that thing looks like it's probably going to go, doesn't it? Let's go to the 5-minute. Here's what we do. Here's what I do when I want to enter. I go to the 5-minute chart. So we're going to give it 3 minutes. It's going to pull back the next candle. Okay, see that? So we're patient. Trust me. I've learned just to be patient. Patience is gonna help you big. Okay, if it comes to where you're not, where you really, if let's say that you have the urge, you can't help it. You're like, I think I'm missing the move. What I suggest you do, it's an emotion happening for you. I suggest you do a smaller lot size, probably half or a quarter of what you would normally do. Just to test out, and you're gonna realize as soon as you do it, I don't know what it is. As soon as you do it, that pullback's gonna happen. Like, whew. And so just get it out of your system. It's gonna pull back and then enter your real lot size when it really happens. So, you know, understand, folks. 90% of this game, 90% of this game is mindset. That's all it is. That's why some people we're trading today. Some of you are going to win. Some of you are going to lose the same exact trade that we're in. Some of you have already lost because you probably either over leveraged or got out because you got scared. Because it's all about mindset. That's all that trading really is. Mindset. You know, you win and lose based off what you think is going to happen. Like some folks are like, are we still in the trade? We're only in like a 5 pip to 10 pip pullback. And some folks are we still in the trade? Yes, absolutely. When I say it's mindset, it's absolutely mindset when it comes to trading and doing what we do. So, yes, yes, yes. Is red is an ugly color. Hey, take that out of your mind. I want you to go in and take that out of your mind. Red is a beautiful color. Okay? Red gives me more money. Right? Anytime that red happens, I get paid way more than I expected. That's what I always say about red. I love red. right? When red comes on my phone, red makes my bank account get bigger, okay? It's a mindset. That's the first lesson right there, right? Do not be afraid, right? When you open your phone, who cares you see red on your phone? Take that out of your mind, okay? We are becoming professional traders, and we're contained and we're emotionless in this market because we know exactly where the market is going. I demand my money out of this market. I take my money out of this market because I know where this market is going, okay? Now, I'm not proactive in the market, right? I react to the market. I'm not proactive. You see this? Proactive would have been I hopped in and I got caught in this pullback. I'm not proactive in the market. I react to what the market is giving me, right? Because I am a trader, okay? I'm a professional trader. That's what you are a professional trader, okay? So you don't get emotional. You're a professional. You know what's going to happen, right? You understand what an uptrend is. And as long as structure is not broken, I'm not scared, right? As long as we're riding that, as long as we're in that uptrend, okay? I'm not scared. Structure is broken here, folks. I'm not scared. This is my low here. Unless it breaks here, I'm not worried about anything, okay? So this here, we're going to wait. It is going to push back a little bit. So we're definitely going to wait this one out and let EURAU do its thing. So this is when you see, this is now the impulse on the backside. This is actually corrected right here. So it's going to get pushed down. So that's on the 5-minute. So we're definitely, you see how it's respecting the cloud right now. And this is why you don't get too proactive. So we could, you know, back in my days, I would have hopped in this trade and been caught in this pullback. I've learned to be patient. You know, the best experience you could ever have is going through this situation. Right? I've done everything that's happened to you. It's happened to me. When I first started, I've been in IML now for 18 months. I've been a trader. I didn't know about Forex. I wasn't a previous trader. You know, I was in the military. I was a pilot. I was an officer. You know, I was in a previous network marketing company. I did network marketing, but I didn't know how to trade. And then I came over and, you know, I believe in a system called modeling, right? When you find someone who has what you want and they're doing very well at doing it, you follow exactly what they're doing. So I picked on my mentor, Dr. Kathy Kirkland. I've always stayed with her, and I really just learned that strategy to a T. You know, also follow Stevenson Linder, where I learned about market structure, learned about flags. You know, Christopher Derrick, I watch him. You know, I watch Kimberly Torres. So I watch a lot of traders actually, because you can get stuff from different type of traders, and you'll notice traders will get stuff from you. You know, as you get good at doing this as well too. So just know that you're always a student. You're always learning. So we're back in that pullback for AJ. So some of you probably got really smart. You probably have closed out, made profit, got back in. You're scalp trading right now. I wish I had time to scalp this off and enter the extra trade. So I'm just actually going through the motions with you. If you are scalping this and making money in and out, congratulations on that. That's absolutely right. Because that's what we're doing. So obviously anything below 30 pips, folks, we're scalping. Okay, so you realize AJ is all over the place. NZD is all over the place. Some of you have already made your daily goal right now just for what's been happening. Some of you already entered a second position at the top like I talked about here and are already in the blue in your second call, and you just close out at the very big entry of the point. So as you learn this, you're going to get very good at profiting and scalping inside this market where it's going to be very, very fun. Okay, I'm training right now. I would have been doing exactly that. I've been closing my trades out, re-entering, and doing that. So right now, I just know what the trade's going to close. So I'm not really stressing. I can look at my phone and be all right. I know it's going to push down. All right, so we're waiting on EURAUD. There's nothing here. Let's see, AUD, USD. Now we're already in. I don't like to get into the same. So these two are kind of the same trades. So I don't want to put us in too many other trades that are similar. So I'm looking for some other trades. So if we can get an EURAUD, it kind of pushed up. So we're waiting on this one. Okay. And then we'll see if any other calls. AUD USD is similar to AJ. So I try not to do that call again. We'll take a look at it just so we can go through the checklist. All right, so now obviously we are, look, automatically, right? We look at the M15, we automatically throw this one out. But I'm just going to give you something here so you can be ready for it. I'm not going to throw it out. We're not going to trade it yet, but I'm going to tell you automatically what I see, okay? Now, you're going to start seeing this because once you complete the academy, and I'm assuming everybody on here is going to complete the academy because you want to make money. And if you want to make money, you would be smart and you finish the academy, right? You want to be a professional. If you want to be a professional at what you do, you finish, you learn. See, I learned that when I was a pilot, right, if I wanted to have good hands on that yoke and I wanted to be good at what I did, and I didn't want to have to think about the process, I want to unconsciously become competent at what I was doing. Right? I got buddies that are fighter pilots, and when planes are moving 500 or more, miles per hour really fast. Okay, same thing. C-130, we were probably a pretty slow plane. We did tactical airlift, but we flew low and slow. So on average, it was about 300 miles per hour, a little bit above, depending on what we were doing. So, but I want to be unconsciously competent at my skills. So the more hours you got in, the more competent you got. So there's a book that if you put it, there's a book called Outliers. And what it found was that anybody who went above 10,000 hours at what they did, they became unconsciously competent at what they were doing. They became very good at it, right? If you want to become a professional athlete, becoming a professional athlete, folks, it's not an accident. Becoming a professional is not an accident. Those folks get on the basketball court, baseball. I was a baseball player. I played basketball. And I didn't put in 10,000 hours. I got really good, but I didn't put in 10,000 hours. My brother became a professional where he played overseas. I watched him put in 10,000 hours, and he got really good. I watched where he wasn't good, and then he became very good because he hit the court every day. Imagine you put 10,000 hours in on these charts to where you look at them, you automatically see it. You automatically see flags, right? You automatically see what's going to happen. Now, we don't get proactive and just initiate, but we know what's going to happen. We know the end result because we look at the charts over and over and over again. And so therefore I'm eased. There's no emotion in trading for me. I know what this is. Okay. I know what's going to happen. Okay. So that's a flag formation, obviously, right? A correction is what we call it. Okay. Below the cloud there. So on the M15, obviously not below the cloud. On the 1 hour is below the cloud. Nice flag formation, our correction here, okay? 4 hours is going to be below the cloud, right? This is beautiful, perfectly, right? It is an overall sell for us, okay? So it's great. We get a correction off the top here. We have even a bigger move happening. Day chart, obviously, boom, okay? Same thing's happening here. Downtrend, right? Then what I do here is I expand down. So I'm just taking you through the process of what you see me doing. Right, I look at the weekly. If I can't immediately look left. So once I see it's in an overall downtrend, I'll go to the weekly. If I can catch it on the daily, we're past the daily. You see, it hasn't been this low since 2015. So let's go farther back. So we're at a low that has not been this low for years. So we're now in 2009, folks. What is happening? I want you to know there's something happening. There is a shakeup happening. Okay. So we go off our weekly. Now we look all the way left. We bump into our green line, and this is like where price had a pullback at. Okay, so we go here. We click on there. Okay. Now this is a weekly. I like to look at the day chart to see what it really did. So now I expanded the day chart. So now you're seeing exactly what I do here. This is where I will find TP2s and what we can do. So people always ask, do I just scalp trade? No, naturally, I swing trade as well. Or I can go. That's why it's not really a big deal for me to look at negative on my phone as well. I can sit in a long-term trade and be all right. So here's where here's where it's at. So there's no obstruction here on our day chart all the way down. So within a 24-hour period intraday, right, we can probably expect maybe a day or so that we get a good drop off of our day chart here. So I would have to run, so probably up to this point. So let's take this here. So you can go and write this one down. I don't want you to over leverage. This is the same trade as AJ, but it hasn't broke yet, so it's all good. Now let's go back. So call AJ for us. So call AU for us. The only thing we're waiting for now, we got how far this trade will go down to. So, wow, we still got, this thing is dropping. And you see this right here, where I want you to be cautious at. Right now we have our Tennyson and Kitchenson. At some point there will be a pullback. I'll say, see, 1, Right, one. So I would see what's going to happen later on the day. So at some point, this pullback is going to happen here. You don't want to be in this pullback here. Okay. But at some point, this pullback is going to happen. But what we're looking for, right? This is 100 and some pips, so over 100 pips here. All right. So now we go back for entry. Now we're just scalping, folks. Now we're not enter at all until this drops below the cloud. We don't make any assumptions, right? No assumption in this. Assumptions will make you lose money. Okay. Everybody also know the other acronym about assumption. It will take your money if you assume that this is going to happen. Yes, this is a corrective flag, but I'm not going to assume that we're going to have a breakout to the downside. Okay. It can also go back and then break structure here and then continue up. So we're not going to make that assumption, but we will wait for price to do this. Okay. So once I get my break past this cloud, we're in this deal. Actually, let me go, because by the time it starts, let's say we come over here. So I'm going to place this here. So 67230. All right, there we go. So this one will be ready once we get our break here. So you can go ahead and write that down in your notes. If I don't catch it, you can use the same exact checklist, folks. I'm telling you, the confirmation checklist, it's not that I'm a special trader or anything. This is not about me. I'm telling you, each and every one of you, you are already the GOAT. Yeah, I see folks saying, hey, it's just checklist. I'm just disciplined based off that checklist. That's it. So if that checklist gives you everything that is on there, right? So I'm going to roll through it for you again. So I'll just clearly state the checklist. Okay. Number one, and the checklist is on. If you're in the Breakfast Club, I'm going to drop the link here for you to join the Breakfast Club. It's open to everyone. It's an open forum. Do not throw, here's the rules. Just don't throw any trades there. You can talk about the trades. Just don't give any take profits. Don't throw the trades there. Don't say whether it's seller buy. Just kind of talk about it a little bit and then refer to the web analyzer. It's meant to be a support group. All right. So in there is going to be the confirmation checklist that I've clearly written down. So I'm going to drop the link here, and then I'm going to drop the checklist right now in there. And then we're going to go over it. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to drop the link here, and then I'm going to drop the checklist in there so that you guys can download it. And then we'll go through it together. One minute. Let me get the link dropped in the group. Folks, we have over 700 people on this call. Absolutely powerful. You guys begin them with me every morning. All right, so let me get this link going. AU is going to be a sell. It's not ready yet. Okay, so you can go ahead and mark it down though. All right, so I'm going to drop the chat link in here. And here's what I want to do. Go ahead and join the group, okay? And then I'm going to drop the checklist in here. Then we're going to go over it together. And what I want you to do is every time that you go into a trade, this is now your pilot checklist, okay? All right, so there goes the link right there. So go ahead and click on that. Ah, look at you guys. This is where I know we got a lot of new folks on the call here. Wow, 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 wow. All right, so I'm going to drop this out. I'll wait for you guys to all join, and I'm going to drop this checklist in here. Okay, I'm dropping the checklist in that group, okay? I'm going to drop it again so that you have it. So get that checklist. This is a checklist that I created, folks. This is what I needed for the way that my brain was structured as a pilot. And so this is just every time that I hop in the trade. That's why you'll see there's no emotion when I execute a trade. You'll see me say sell or buy, and I won't even think about it because I have a checklist in my head that I go by, and each and every one of you can go this same exact checklist. You don't even have to, of course, be on the Breakfast Club call. I love our community, our environment. But if you don't have time to get on this call, folks, I'm telling you, you can do this. You can trade. You can use the web analyzer. When it calls to trade, you go through this checklist. So let's go through this checklist together. All right, so I'm gonna physically go through the checklist. I want to walk through it with you. Okay, so we're analyzing AUD USD. Obviously, we already know. We look through the chart. So what does it say? The first step, it says check the trend by looking at the M15, H1, H4, and day chart. So I give you that, right? So we did that. We're doing the M15, which I already told you was a flag. It's above the cloud there. That's going to be temporary. Below the cloud and everything else. 4-hour day chart. If you even want to go weekly, just look at it. Sometimes, weekly, boom, we see that. Done. Okay. We're going to enter off the M15 and 5-minute chart. Okay. So once we got that, you can see I gave you a little note there. If candles are above the cloud, with indication of a buy, candles below the cloud, indication of a sell. Listen to me. Indication. I say that for a reason. It's not the end all say all. It doesn't mean the sell, doesn't mean the buy. It's indication. All of these have to meet one another. Okay, they all have to be together to make this one whole powerful concept. Okay. Number 2, set your support and resistance line provided by the web analyzer. This is your entry point. Okay, this is important, very important, especially if you're brand new. Use the web analyzer. Let it give you that entry point because it's based around volume. Okay. Now, when I say volume, that means the sell contracts, the buy contracts, and we're looking for who's going to win, right? If the sellers win, guess what? The price is going to drop. If the buyers win, guess what? The price is going to go up. That's it. Okay, so we set that. Number 3, pullback. I have pullback for a reason. You want to make sure this is where your patience comes in at. Never, if you see this right here, you see a long push like this. Never have the fear of missing out when you see a long wick like this. This is going to kill. This will kill you right here. This will kill your account. Right? You see this happening, you're like scared, and then you sell because you're like, I'm going to miss out on this move. And then what happens? That thing starts pulling, but start walking back. And you're like, oh my God, you're in a heavy pullback, 30, 40, 50 pips because you thought you were going to miss a move. You're never going to miss the move. Even if this whole move happened without you, guess what happens? Now, I don't want to lose anybody here, okay? But let's talk about this. This is where I'm not going to talk about Fibonacci's and none of that. But some of you can already eyeball this and say, okay, this move moved all the way down. And what's happening? We're getting a 50% correction. I don't got to run a Fibonacci to know that 50% of what happened here is correcting back to 50% of the trade here. Right? Because it's always going to run its race and it has to take a rest. It's resting right now. And the longer that it's resting, the bigger that the move is going to be to the continuation. Right? So ICC, impulse, correction, continuation. That's all we're doing, folks. And now we're just taking the cloud. And it's even more powerful structure for us when we're using it. That's it. Okay. So we're going to enter in off what? The pullback. Okay. This is a bigger pullback. So when we're talking about this is if you were making a big move here. Okay. So obviously I will take this down. I will tell you automatically my brain, I always take it down. I don't look for the next lower low. Okay. Which is our downtrend. I'm just going to stop it right here. So once that happens, and obviously we want this to be below the red and the blue line here. We want our red line to cross under, but this will be a full trade here. So automatically looking at this trade, once this happens, we're looking at from here, see 6722 down to 66. So that's going to be what 30. This is an automatic 30 pips right here. Once we get that, and depending on when the red line crosses under, it could possibly be 40. So this will be the move here. So let's just talk about the pullback on the 15. Let's say price comes down. So this is gonna happen. You're gonna get your impulse move down, your continuation down. What you're gonna wait for, obviously, your retest. You're gonna wait for it to pull back. Retest the entry point. Because trust me, the web analyzer is going to give you an entry point. When this happens, it's gonna tell you, it's gonna say sell. Okay? It's gonna give you an entry point. Wait for it to pass the entry point, and it's going to pull back to the entry point, okay? It's going to retest off of the entry point. Remember, we talked about what a retest is. Price is going to come up, touch it, come back down. Price is going to come up, touch it, come back down. Price is going to come up, touch it, come back down. That's 3 retests. Then eventually, price is just going to move down in your direction. Then that's when you're going to sell, okay? You got your 2 to 3 retests. You're going to sell and execute, okay? Well, but that's step 3. Execute number 4, and then number 5. Okay? Before you execute, or we're looking at AUD USD, we're going to make sure that AUD is weaker, okay, than USD. Currently, what is it right now? It's not. USD is actually weaker than AUD. Hence, we're in a correction. But this also says something as well too. We're in a correction. We're not in a. This move didn't go up. This move corrected sideways, which lets me know it still wants to come down. Okay? That's it. This is all the market is. And the more hours you put in doing this, the more easier this is going to get for you. Okay. So that's it for. So go ahead and you can go ahead and mark down AUD USD for a later time. This one will probably materialize during the Sydney the Sydney Tokyo session. So you can expect that push is going to happen here. So just have this one in, just written on a piece of paper so that you can look at it later. Yes, we are still in AJ. Remember I said, anytime you get a pullback, pullbacks mean more money, okay? So we're just in, and I know that, so just make sure you're not over leveraging, okay? So when I look at a pullback, don't look at the money. The pullback should, right now, your pullback should be no more, like where I'm looking at my account, it should be no more than right now 7% of your account right now. 6%. If you are beyond 6% of your account right now in the red, you have over leveraged your account in a small bit, okay? Also look at your margin levels. Make sure your margin levels, I'll say, don't let it drop below, depending on what your leverages are, don't let it drop below 1,000. You can do 500, but really 1,000, right? Yes, Cassandra, I love that. 1%, 10 pips, that's even better. Most of you right now, you should have been able, if you didn't enter the second position. So let's go ahead and look at AJ now. So we did get in the pullback. AJ is the most pullback right now. Remember I said, let's calm you down here. Here's where your calmness comes at. Tell me what you see on that currency strength. Did come up a little bit, but which is still, are we still good? We are. We're still good. Even if AUD came up a little bit stronger than JPY, as long as, I'm going to tell you, as long as JPY does not drop all the way down to this 1 bar, we're good. I'm not worried. We're still corrective. Okay? So we got to push up. So guess what? This is the 1 hour. We're all good. This actually told us we're going to get the pullback here. So this totals we're going to get a pullback here. Okay? So everything's good. Now let me bring something else into your view to give you some calm before the storm as well, right? Let's talk about the cloud in whole. So I'll talk about when you can worry a little bit, okay? Or not really worry, but let's talk about this cloud and what it does and put this into your peripheral. All right, you see this here? This was consolidating, okay? See how price consolidated was sideways? You see the market was you had some Kumo twists. So you see every time this lead 1 crossed over the lead 2, which is the red line, the cloud. And then it did one last time, and then you've seen it actually go down. You've seen the green line cross. I'm not talking about the Tennyson or Kinston. That happened over here. You had your red line cross on the blue line, and you were below the cloud as well, too. This was a great indication of a sell and a drop. That was good. But then you had your cross here in the future where it told you that, boom, that's actually validated. Our Kumo twist is what this called. And let us know. Now we're in our downtrend. We got our Kumo twist right here. Let us know the trend is actually changing. Boom. Okay? And then tell me when you see another Kumo twist. Is this a Kumo twist? No, it's not, right? We didn't get a Kumo twist. So some consolidation happened, but no Kumo twist. So no change in direction. Okay? We had some correction here. Did we get a Kumo twist? Nope. Look what happened here. It pushed up, reversed up here. What happened? We did get a Kumo twist. Okay? Got a Kumo twist here. Then what? We got some consolidation. Then what happened? Market moved across, and then it dropped. And then what'd you get here? We got our Kumo twist again. Green line drop below. Boom. Okay. And then what's happening? Now just look. We have nothing here. This is letting you know it's a strong resistance area. Not worried about anything. Right? This cloud is powerful. Okay. So in list now, if I see this go up, and that start, then maybe some concern may come in. I'll go look at the 4 hour. Okay. And I'll see it. Do I want to be in this trade this long? Okay. Then you're looking at, okay, what was your leverage in your account? Did you do, if you did 1%, you're not worried about nothing. Okay. Right. You're looking for, and most likely it's going to respect this area. So we're not worried. I'm just telling you folks, I'm not worried about none of this trade. Okay. All I'm looking at is I'm just going to make more money on my account now because of positioning. Because now you're at a position. So let's talk about the two to three retest. So now what happens is, so we talk about that area here. So now we go back to our 15-minute, which is here. Okay, so this is our 4 hour. What was that 4 hour? Let's see. That's our taking off our 4 hour, right? The higher the time frame, the stronger it really is. You know, so it's probably gonna respect that one. This is all the layers of protection that we have when we made this trade. Okay. So now we're talking about that second entry. We're gonna make sure that we follow steps three through 5, okay, before we make that entry. So 2, 3. So really what I'll say, the cloud is pretty rough. When it gets in the cloud, I watch myself here. I'll see how the price moves around a little bit. Don't just jump in and make that entry. You know, see where price is gonna have a struggle at. So if price comes up here and it tests off here a couple times, well then price is eventually gonna come back down back through here. And if you want to make another entry, you make another entry down here. I'll like half the lot size or a smaller lot size, and you catch this all the way back down. This is corrective, folks. Why is it corrective? Let's talk about several things. For those who understand candle formations, right? We had our push, right? This was a strong impulse, right? Strong push. This right here, that small candle, okay? Right? And then this is all corrective. Now, if we had an engulfing candle, that's going to give us an indication that we're going to get a good reversal. Doesn't mean it's still a reverse. We're still going to look at other things, but it is an indication that we're going to get a good reversal, okay? So right now, this is all corrective. Yes, it's happening. No big deal, right? It's going to push down. Longest structure, then break. So here's what this is happening here. NZD, JPY kind of did similar. They're both moving in the same, even though, you know, NZD did not change. So AUD kind of went even. All good. Some of you are probably even out of this trade already, but no, you just know you're going to catch it all the way down. So now we're off the 1 hour. So we're just looking at the points here. So just some strength to change. So it may come up, it may pull back somewhere around here. It's going to test and it's going to drop back down. Yes, I will let you know. I will even let you know anytime that I'm in a trade. If I get out of a trade, I'm in all these trades that I'm in with you. Anytime I'm in a trade, I will let you know. Anytime I get out of a trade, I'll let you know, hey, I'm closing out. I'll let you know I'm closing out a trade. But so far, we haven't had to close out a trade. We've been good. So we're good. Don't worry about it. Remember, take your emotions out of this. And remember, this is what I look at. Okay? This drops the red. If this drops 1 to 1 bar, then I will go look. I'll go look at the news. I'll see if someone spoke, and then I'll look at market structure. Right now, no structure has been broken. No previous high has been broken. Everything's good. That's it. So price is going to play around a little bit. Remember, the more the consolidation, the bigger the push is going to happen every single time. All right, so I think we're not taking any more trades right now. So you guys already have AUD USD to look at for a later time. All right, that's going to be a nice trade. Let's go and look at this one real quick. Do a quick overview, and then we got some time. We'll spend 45 minutes to answer some questions here. So-called NZD USD for a buy, for example. Let's just do a quick analysis. Now I'm just going to go through it because we already went through the checklist with you, so you know what I'm doing. So follow along. We look at the trend. M15 above the cloud. H1 below. So we stop here, right? Obviously not a buy, but you guys automatically see what this is. Okay. So as your eyes start getting calibrated, okay, go through the academy, learn what I'm doing here. This is Forex Advanced. Okay. So we're looking at a flag formation here, right? So now when you start looking at 15, that's all corrective. Okay. This is impulse, correction, continuation, all corrective. Right, 4 hour, right, corrective, right? We're gonna pull back here to day chart. Below the cloud, look at our weekly, right on the cuff here. So obviously I wouldn't take this trade just yet. I wanted to break this point. We wanted to break there. So that's, that's probably where let me see, NZD, JPY, and actually no. So obviously this is going to pull back a little bit, and then it's going to push down. So wait for this one. We wanted to break this point here. Okay. So this is for a later time. You know, it's not ready yet. You want USD to go stronger, and you want NZD to be weak before entering this trade. But go ahead and write this one down for a later time, and then pay attention to it. So this one actually is going to go into a sell later on. It's not going to be a buy. So you're going to wait for that push down the M15 and wait for it to be called on the web analyzer. EUR/AUD. All right, we're still good on that one. This, once again, same thing, corrective here, okay, for the buy. So go ahead and write down EUR/AUD, because we probably won't be taking that trade before we get off here. All right, so now when you're looking at this is going to make sense to you. So now let's just draw, and you don't have to draw trend lines, but I just want to show you what the cloud does for you. You don't have to draw trend lines with the cloud, but it gives you everything you need. Okay, and let's talk about why I don't trade the pullback. Why do we trade the way we trade the way we trade? For peace of mind, so you can go to sleep at night. So let's say that we happen to get locked into our trade. Okay, as long as it remains below the cloud, we're good. We're in a long. So remember, uptrends are for long-term, uptrends, long-term buys, short-term sells. Downtrends, long-term sells, short-term buys. Short-term sells. Downtrend, long-term sells, short-term buys. Right. So here's an uptrend. Boom, we buy. Boom. All right, and then correction. Maybe if you were in this buy and you stayed all the way up, if you're a swing trader, you could have rolled this up and stayed in for weeks and months and stuff like that, right? You can do that. You know, we like to scalp in the market. We get our money, we take it out, we get in, we take it out, we get in, because you make a lot of money going in and out doing all this, okay? So boom. And then some people will do this. I will never do this, right? Some people will buy, some people will sell here, right? But here's what I'm going to tell you. If you sell here, can you get 10 pips? Absolutely. But do you know when this is going to happen? You can't gauge when this is going to happen. And this is what you don't want to get caught in. Let's say you sell here, you're hoping to get your 10 pips, it gets to 7 pips, and you don't put a stop loss in profit or whatever. Okay? And then this move happens. Boom. When is it coming back? You don't know. That's why I get the questions. Hey, do I stay in this trade? When do I get out? Well, when does structure break? You know, I get out of trades when the structure is broken. Right? Well, you don't know the structure is broken because you didn't trade with structure. You trade against it. Okay? So because you sold here, you don't know when this is going to happen. So you got to wait. If we're talking about Elliott's wave, well, guess what? This was the first wave. 0, 1, 2. Well, you got 5. And it might go 9. So you're up in here and then your account is blown. So don't do that. So if you're brand new, I trade with the trend. And so that will be the most powerful. You will be able to sleep at night, I promise you, if you trade with the trend, regardless of the pullback. That's why I don't even look at my phone. You know, the only way that I know that we're in a pullback most of the time is from when I look at the chat. When everybody's like, hey, do I stay in this? Are we going to still stay in this one or going to do this? I really have my phone closed. I don't look at it. Like yesterday, I was doing an event, you know, here in Canada. Alex Morgan came out, you know, one of our new leaders here in Canada. They packed out the room. When I walked outside, you know, I seen that we went beyond TP2. People had made a lot of money, and I didn't even look at my phone. So just know that's the power behind what we do. Don't look at your phone. You're good. Try not looking at your phone, and just let it do its thing, and you'll realize you're gonna have a much fun life and session in trading in Forex. So TP2, now TP2 is just a gauge, right? So let's just talk about this one. So this is one that we're going to be going into. I will probably be off this session by the time it materializes, but let's talk about this one. Okay, obviously you don't trade until it's above the cloud. It gave us our entry point, which is up here. Okay, so wait for it to pop out and retest your support area here. Okay, so automatically looking. Let's go ahead and let's just really give you this trade here. So it's calling it. Look, I want to tell you how powerful the web analyzer is too. See, it's calling it down here. It's giving you your true support and resistance line. Now we're not going to enter the trade. I would suggest never enter the trade inside the cloud. We're always going to enter it outside the cloud. Okay, but this is a correction right here. Let's just go and put our line there. Okay, we're going to look for the break here. I immediately look at the green. Now this is on the 15-minute. Typically I'm on the 1 hour when I do this, but this move was it's a lot of pips with EA. So we take the green line, we look left, we go to our next point here. Okay. And really, you can come here with this. You see, we had a little pullback here, which this has already happened. So that's why this is really going to enter after this point, because we keep on getting the pullback after this part here. So really, you want to enter after this line here. Okay, that's a first. That would be either first target or enter after that line there. Here goes the next one. So remember, we already did this one. So let's go and run. This is about 60 pips total after we enter. So let's say you entered somewhere around this part here. 45 pips. Okay, here goes. This would be another one right here. Okay, so that's 45, about 45, almost 50 pips. And then that next target, we go up another 30 pips. So there it is right there. So this will be, so 76 pip move is what we're looking at in total for EA. Okay, so once we do enter this trade, so today this is going to happen. Okay, just be patient, let it do its thing, go through the checklist. You're gonna get 70 pips. We did it yesterday. I forgot what we traded. We made we got 60 some pips. You guys got some big trades in yesterday. You know, my wife, she quadrupled her count yesterday. Wanda killed it. You know, going through some of those setups that we talked about. So after you enter here, first one, once it passes here, it's gonna be a smooth sell up. Okay, for 50 pips. So that can be your first target, I would say. So get your 10 pips out the way, okay? 10 pips, put your stop loss in profit, let it track up, get your 50 pips, bring your stop loss up, maybe 25 pips, 30 pips, okay? Let it track up, get your 70 pips in, okay? Once it starts getting above here, go ahead and bring your stop loss to TP2. So I would say this could be your TP2. So TP2 would be 1.67400. So let's go ahead and let's make it 400. So 1.67400 for TP2 for EA. TP1 is going to be 10 pips from entry. TP3, 1.67675. 75 pip move. And that was just on the 15. We didn't even talk about, man, that's whoa. That's only, structure hasn't even been. So let's talk about structure. You know, we're already in our trade, so let's just do a little bit extra training. So when I say structure, I'm talking, and I'm saying I'm training you as if I'm training myself in the past, because I remember all these things. I had all these questions that I remember having to go to. I went to an event with Stevenson Lindor and Dr. K, and those were events where you got quality personal time. And this is one of those seasons where you ask questions. So I remember pulling Stevenson aside and I said, hey, because I was already looking, I would see the flags. I didn't understand. I was like, there's no way, because I couldn't imagine that it was this easy. And I was like, there's no way it's this easy. And so I pulled him to the side and say, is this it? He goes, yeah, that's it. I said, so is this? And he confirmed it. So I gained some confidence in doing that. So I started long-term trading first before I started doing this right here. Okay. So let's talk about this. So me telling myself in the past, I would say, okay, Randy, what is really market structure? You know, higher highs, higher lows, lower lows, lower highs. If you don't know what I'm talking about right now, I really need you to get in the academy, the basics, you know, learn what a trend up and a trend down is. And I want you to write those definitions down, okay? Because when it goes outside of that definition, that's when market structure is broken, okay? So if I say that an uptrend is higher highs and higher lows, that means what I'm telling you is this, right? If I said that this is a low, okay, and this is a high, right? Well, then when it corrects back, that means this is going to be another low, but it's going to be a higher low than this low here. Okay, now we're forming structure. Then we create another high here, right? Let's say this is our next high. It's our higher high because it's higher than this previous high here. right? And then we get a correction again. Then we have a what? We have another low. It's another low. It's a higher low because it's higher than what? This low here. Okay, now we're talking about structure. So let's say that you bought here. Okay, we're expecting it to go up, but let's say we bought here and then it starts going down. Well, structure is not broken. I may be losing some of you here, and I may be with you. This may be bonus training for some folks. Structure is not broken until price goes past here. Man, this was such an eye-opener for me. Like, so let's say you got structure is not broken until it passes this point. That's a decision point. This is a decision point. Structure is broken. Okay. Now we're no longer in an uptrend. Okay. That's what it is. All right. So now let's just talk about this. Structure can break in several different ways. So right now we're taking it up to a point where structure. So when I do my take profits, I take it up to a point where before structure breaks. Now this is structure breaking on a good note, right? We're structure breaking here creates a what? A higher high because it's going to go higher than this previous price here. Okay, so what has to happen is price comes up, either comes to this area, either rejects off of it, respects it, which that's why this is my TP3, or it breaks it. It goes through it, creates a higher high. Hence, now I go to my 1 hour chart. Let's say go to 1 hour, let's go to our 4 hour, and then we look in the past. If we can't see in the 4 hour, we go to our day chart. And if we don't see it on our day chart, we go to our weekly. So now in our weekly, we go here. So we look left, right? Now we're looking at price here. So if you want to go farther up, you can just like put lines all the way up. All right. So if it keeps on going, then that's what's going to be the move. And that's how we look at this. So that's bonus trainings for some of you. If you got that, if you've been in your academy, you definitely got what I was just talking about there. If you have not, come back to this recording, go through IML Academy, please. I promise you, I'm telling you that because I spent my first month in this company. And now I'll give you my background as a natural network marketer, where, you know, we hit chairman 10 in 60 days. I was still a student, like, you know, learning how to trade. It was hard because people looked up to me and like, you're a chairman, they expect you to trade. And I didn't know how to trade. I had to learn how to trade just like everybody's doing here. And so if I could change anything in my process and do this all over again, I would go through the academy. I would do it twice. I would take notes like I've already done. And I would really become a student like I was going through college. And because when you learn how to trade, folks, there's nothing that you cannot do in this organization. If you've never did network marketing before, guess what? You become a good trader. You put people in the system on demand, right? When you got this power right here where you're confident, you're trading, and you're getting people to make money, you're going to sign people up. That's that. So that's it. So we got 30 minutes. Let's go ahead and I'll answer some questions here, and then we'll end our session. And I'm going to give you, someone said, check GBP JPY. I'm going to just tell you right offhand right now. GBP JPY is so volatile. You know, we did one trade probably last week. That thing moved. It moved up 70 pips so fast. I said, you know, we're not going to push this one no more. So I'll stop that. I see AJ still. AJ, we're still good. Look at your 1 hour. Okay, you're going to get the pull. It's pulling back. Look at your 4 hour. So it's probably going to touch that. You see that Kinnison right there? It's probably going to touch that. It's okay. I'm in AJ still. And what's going to happen is I'm just going to secure a second position at the top. So I'm going to let it do its thing. Let me look at the currency strength. Make sure we're good. So obviously AJ is real. They're even. So it's good. Like I said, I'm not going to do anything. This has to drop all the way down for it to really shake. And then NZD is still doing its thing. So we're good. It's corrective still. So now you're going to look for a second position. So let's go. So everybody going to write down EUR AUD for a later time. And then let's go ahead and go to AUD JPY, and let's talk through that real quick, and then we'll answer your questions. I want you to feel confident and comfortable. Red is extra money in your bank account. I'm not worried about anything. Everything says that this is dropping, right? Okay. That's our daily right there. So what this is going to happen, typically what happens, this is because I've seen this too many times. Okay. So this is going to, later on today, if this is not closed out before the session, you're going to see this kind of push down. So this does not look anytime soon that it's crossing over, okay? We're definitely corrective here. This is all corrective, okay? And sometimes what will happen, we end up getting caught, regardless of the checklist, we can call on the back end, it's all right. Always just remember, it's more money in your bank account. But as long as you don't over leverage. Now, if you over leverage, this is not a fun trick right now. You shouldn't, 30 pips, I will tell you, 30 pips should not affect you. If 30 pips are affecting you, you're definitely over leveraged. And I really suggest, if I can give you a point, trade between 1 to 3% of your account. Like that's really good right there. And if you understand what we're really looking at, I will say you're at max at 5% of your account. That's it. Okay. All of you guys are over leveraged for sure. Absolutely over leveraged. If it's you guys are over leveraged, please look at the percentage. If the percentage of your account is not less than 10% right now, if it's not less than 10% in the negative, you're over leveraged. And I want you to make sure you use smaller lot sizes. Okay, so as long as you should be right now, it should be less than 10% of your account. Okay. Now if you are over leveraged here, let me give you the next thing. Is your margin level percentage, is it above at least, let's say above at least 400, 500%? And if it's not above that, please tell me it's above 300%. Okay. I would say at max, just 300% is scary. Now 300% margin, that's scary. Okay. As long as you're well above that, you're good. Don't get into any more trades, you're good. Okay. If you're well above that, you over leverage for sure. If you're 1,000%, you're good. 1,400%, you're good. Okay. And I'll go ahead and tell you guys a personal story. Well, I've always, so I'll tell you guys my personal story. First starting Forex, my first week in, I am like the feeling I feel, I'm ecstatic. Just like you, I'm happy, I'm making money. You know, I have fun. Just like, you know, when I started a big account, because I heard all these big stories. I started with $1,000 in my account, and then I put 1,000 more in my account because I want to have more. And check this out. Some of you are going to laugh at this. I started off with a standard. Then I went to a 3 standard. Listen to me. I did 3 standard in a $2,000 account. It's hilarious now. But I was making money back to back, right? I was in the market. I was getting in and out. And I thought I was doing some stuff in, out. And I remember I used to tell people what goes up must come down. What comes down must go up. All this crazy stuff because I hadn't really went through the academy yet. I thought I knew what I was talking about. But I had made $5,000 that week, though. So you can still be stupid and make a lot of money. So my first week, I made $5,000 off of ignorance, right? And not going through the academy. That was awesome, right? I'm lit. I think I'm invincible. I don't have a checklist. I don't know I really don't know what I'm doing. I understand the cloud maybe a little bit, but I don't understand the cloud. I just kind of redline this, you know, just a little bit. I made $5,000. So now I have $7,000 in my account. Listen, 1 week. The second week, I don't know how to get out of a trade. And when I say I don't know how to get out of a trade, I finally get caught in a pullback. And I had a 2 standard on my account. That one, I happened to be trading a 2 standard, right? And first it goes negative 1,000. I have $7,000 in my account, so in my head it's not a big deal. Negative 1,000. It goes negative 2,000, negative 3,000. And I don't get out of the trade, folks. I'm like, it's going to come back down. It's going to hope in the market. So I'm going to tell you right now, 12 reasons why Forex traders fail. One of them is hope, having too much hope in the market. And that hope can be, if you don't have something to gauge, if you don't know that you're in a downtrend or uptrend, you don't know what you're gauging against, right? Of course, I would be scared now. And if I didn't know if I didn't know this was a downtrend, then I would be scared. Obviously, I know I'm in a downtrend. I'm not scared. This is a pullback, okay? But back then, I didn't know what I was doing. I was staying in the trade, hope. And guess what ended up happening, folks? I blew all the profit. So now I had to it took me out of the game mentally, right? So because in my head, I told myself I lost $7,000. I lost $7,000. That's what I told myself. But what did I really lose? I really lost only $2,000. I lost $5,000 of the market money that I had gained, and I really had lost my initial investment of that $2,000. Okay, so I want you all to always consider that. And so here's another way to exit. We all gonna have different exit points too. Okay, so let's talk about this. When do you exit? I'm gonna tell you this right now. I've learned this lesson. Learned this lesson last year. You exit before your initial investment. Let's say that you've been doing good this whole time. Boom, 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 and then you do something stupid. Okay, and you don't know when to get out. Maybe you might have doubled, tripled your account, but you let that thing run. Get your butt out of the market when it gets to your initial investment. If you put 500 in the market, okay, and let's just say you got to 1,500 and you did something stupid, and that thing you lose the money. You're in a pullback, whatever. You don't know how to get out of your trade. When that thing starts coming up on your 500, get out of it. Just close it, and then I want you to take a day off because you took a loss. Take a day off. Think about what happened. Go look back at what happened. What you could have did better, okay? It's a self-assessment. But guess what you just did? You didn't lose any money. You didn't lose your money. You got out of the market, and you just gave the market. You say, okay, it was nice playing. Here's your money back, okay? You gave the market their money back, and you say, okay, let's start this game over again. I got my initial investment. Let's do exactly what I did to get to 1,500. That's it. Because that's all that trading is. And I'm telling you from experience. I'm telling you because I did all these things that I'm teaching you right now. The greatest teacher is experience. That's why I'm able to train this, because I've done it all. And I know what the psychological part of it is. And it took me out of the game. When I did blow that account, it took me out of the game for some months before I really got, I started trading small until I really got hardcore. I'm like, I'm back. I got my mojo back. Okay? So mindset, always plug in. We have mindset in our academy. Please plug into that. And know there's market money and there's your money. If it starts going close to your money, get out of the market, close it out. Doesn't matter. And I want you to tell yourself, I didn't lose money. You didn't lose money. You have your initial investment. Okay? So that's the mindset. We're done with that mindset part. So let's go ahead and talk, and let me go through these questions. Now, there's 46 questions. I won't be able to go through all of them, but I'll catch the first ones that are on here. Now, as you see, there are a lot of trades. There are a lot of trades that just came to. We're in a pullback, so I'm not throwing any more trades on here. I don't want to over leverage anybody on here. But just know you go through the same process. You go to UCAT, go through the steps, and go through the process on these trades here. All right, so let me go to the Q&A here. All right, GCAT, I've been seeing that. So we took GCAT for a sale. Should we stay in the car? All right, let's take a look at it. Now, I just gave you a strong mindset. So you have two outs, okay? So one is your initial investment, okay? So I want you to keep that in mind. All right, so let's go look at GCAT real quick. Now, if it's only a 30 pip pullback, folks, listen to me. I don't look at 30 pips, 20 pips. Maybe I don't think that's right. That's your pullback, because most time that's going to hit your 4-hour Tanks or Kinston. So I'm gonna assume I don't know what you're in. I don't know if you're in a seller buy. So I'm just going to automatically. I'm just now analyze it. You can do exactly what I'm doing now. That's all I'm gonna do is what I just taught you. Okay. So obviously an ugly correction here, but let's see. Talk about that. You see how this Tankston is cuffed over? So it's acting as a resistance point right now. So right now price is trapped here. So price has to make a decision. So if this comes around, it's going to push price down. Okay. Let's go to the 1 hour. That's above the cloud. So let's go ahead and so 15 above the cloud, 1 hour above the cloud, 4 hour above the cloud, and day chart below the cloud. Okay. Now, always looking at your day. So let me move this out the way so you can see it. When you look at your day is always going to give you your overall trend. Okay. I think we already looked at GCAT actually. I told you what GCAT was going to be. GCAT's going to be an overall sell when it happens. So let's talk about it. We're not proactive in them. So don't hop in this trade. For those who are in the trade, I'm just going to tell you where it's at. I don't know if you're in a buy or a sell. Okay. So right now it's on the trend line on the day chart. Okay. So this was a reversal that happened. All right, if it respects this, okay, later on, if when the next candle lights up, if it decides to drop, if it respects this, it test it, and then it drops, we'll get this. Okay. If it breaks, right, and you see it respecting it actually, so let's talk about structure, market structure here, right? This is our high. If price goes above here, it can still respect this cloud. Price can come all the way up to this point here and still be fine and still drop back down. So price can break this, come up here, right? Still be below the previous high, right? And then it will still be it'll still be a lower high. Okay? And then it can drop back down. But if price respects this, so we're gonna get our drop here. So overall, this is a downtrend. So now let's look. You see me draw this, I drew this arrow for a reason because I want you to see what it looks like on the other charts. Now we go to the 4 hour and let's look at what it looked like. So we wait for those entering the trade, we don't enter the trade till it goes here, obviously, right? Okay. Some of you are already in the trade. It's cool. You got a double top right here on the 4 hour. Okay. So there's probably going to be a drop here. Hopefully, I guess I'm assuming you're in a sell. If you're in the buy, I mean, the buy is at the top right now. So you need, if you're in a buy, you need to break the trend line. So you're hoping that this is going to push up. If you're in a sell, then it's coming off the trend line, it's coming down. So 1 hour, right? It's going to break here, and then 15 minutes. 15 minutes will be your first thing to come down. All right, so let's talk about this now. This obviously using my checklist, you wouldn't even go for this sell yet using the checklist that we have, high probability, because we wait for everything to break. But for those who, if you're looking at this, you're like, man, it's a good setup. This can be an opportunity where you do set a stop loss, right? Let's say that you happen to sell here, right at the top, and then what you would do is you would set your stop loss outside of the trend. It's not guaranteed though. This may come up, it will come up and touch your stop loss and then come back down. So I don't like to trade that way. Okay, I wait for true confirmation before I go in. All right. All right, so hopefully that's what you guys were looking for GCAT. Were you guys in a sell or a buy? A sell, okay. It's in the overall sell. Okay, so as long as you leverage right, I don't know when you got in, but as long as you leverage right, you're all good. Remember I talked about that position. If you leverage right, and maybe you did get put in a pullback, 30 pip, 40 pip, whatever it is you're in, okay? Wait for the retest. So let's go. Now let's go. We got these. Let's go ahead and bring this down. So this is our Tangson on our day chart. This is our Kendison on our day chart. You see how it's respecting the Kendison? So let's go take a look at this. See that blue line right there? See how price is respecting it? That's good. So it's going to bring that down, put our line there. So that is a resistance point for us. Now let's go to our 4 hour, see what happened. How many retests do we have on our 4 hour? Okay, we got 1, 2, right? And then price came down, and then 3 retests. So this is a good resistance point off of our 4 hour. And then we go to our 1 hour, right? And obviously that's going to go way across here. All right, so now it's at this area again, retest, then what price starts moving our direction. So at some point, if you want to catch it from the top, for those who are in trade, small lot size, right? I would wait for it to pass the cloud personally, but small lot size, you can actually catch a position all the way back down. Once it's solidified that this is a true resistance point, okay? 15-minute. Now this makes sense for me. This all makes sense now. So now that we looked at the whole story, this makes absolute sense. Here goes our resistance area. We actually have trapped price right here. Okay, and then also our tungsten came above, right? And what we're expecting in the next, probably over the next couple of candles, is going to consolidate a little bit. Over the next couple of candles, we will get a break down here. Once you get this breakout, right, you can expect this is going to curve down. You get this cross under this blue line, then maybe you can enter for your second position. This is for those who are in the trade. All right, if you want to catch it all the way down. Personally, then once you do that, anytime that I trade above the cloud for a sell, I'm going to set a stop loss at the high if I do that. But it's rare I don't do it. I'll tell you I don't do it. But if I do it, I'll set a stop loss above. Okay, and that's it. And you see this happening here, and then you catch that money all the way back down. So everything you've been looking for, being all scared in that trade, go ahead and catch that money all the way back down. Let me take a look at this trade here. I do see the pullback here. We're in 30 pips now. Looks like, okay, the market's just, let's let the market do its thing. Let me see if there's any news that's happening. $8:30, so. Well, this one's already happened, I believe, right? Well, they're speaking, so it's orange for that's USD, and then we have 230, we have AUD. I just realized we have AUD at 230. So this is farther away, actually. All right, so right now the market is doing something. You see all these changes. The market is doing something right now. I don't know if someone's speaking right now, so I'm going to have to look at the news and everything. But as of right now, JPY is still up there. NZD is still weaker. These two are still the same. Market structure-wise, we're still good. Just let it go through the process. I'm still in the trade as of right now. Now I will tell you, I will probably enter definitely for AUD JPY once I see where it's going, and once it settles down, I'm gonna go through steps 3. I'm gonna go through steps 3 through 5 again for AUD JPY. So I will catch that because AUD JPY went through a good pullback. So let's go look at it real quick. So let's see. So we may get a little drop. It's probably gonna play around a little bit, and then you'll probably get a little drop here. So this is still all corrected, like I said, all corrected right here, and then it's gonna be a big push down. Is what's gonna happen. So what my plan is once it retests this area here, okay, and then we did get price moving back down, I'll probably secure a second position, small lot size, and catch it all the way back down. So you'll catch the whole pullback. And if you don't know where, just close out if you're over leveraged, please don't do that. Just let it go through the process, catch your money all the way back down. Okay. You know, someone's been telling the CSA, I gotta find it is on here. I found that I've had to, let's do this. Because I was looking for it on here. It's the same. I use that. I'm used to using this here. I was just told about that strength meter. I'm so used to using this. Let's see what it has on there. So I want to say it's CSA. No, that's not it. Okay, I'm gonna have to learn how to read what I'm reading on here. Let's see. I guess I'm assuming if it's red, then it's lower. So what I'm gonna have to do is learn how to read this. Yeah. What I'll do is I'm gonna research. I'll talk to Steven today and see how to read this exactly. This is what I've been used to right here. This has been a part of the checklist right here. This is what I'm used to. But once I'll learn how to read that and see how it matches up. It is saying AUD is something, and then JPY is something on here. I got to figure out what that is. Okay, so each of these are the strongest ones. So it's saying AUD is strong on the 5. So it won't give you, so it just gives you the pair. So it selects a certain pair out of there. Okay. I'll give you the percentage. Here we go. So now I need to find out. It was 66% are selling, buying, what that is. So let me figure this one out, and then I'll come back to you guys about what the CSA means. So here's what I'm going to tell you is going to happen right now. Typically when this happens, when you get a pullback happens like this, you're going to see it. It's going to be a very strong. You're going to see it just drop. And before you know, you open up your phone, it's just going to be a big drop that's going to happen. Okay. Similar to kind of yesterday, you guys have been, you've did this too many times with me. You know what's going to happen. It's going to hit, and it's just going to drop. That's what's going to happen with this situation here. Okay. So what I'll do is so that I can teach it better, I'm going to look at it like I always like easy. The goal is easy. So we're going to make sure that it's understandable by everybody. All right. So let me go through some more questions for you all. Appreciate all of you hanging. Over 600 of you hanging with me this whole time, huh? All right. Sorry, folks. We have about 4 minutes left. So let me speed through some questions real quick. I always try to answer some, and then we'll end our session. And then obviously when everything goes good, you know, we'll celebrate in the Breakfast Club call. All right. So GBP CHF. Let's look at it real quick. So I want you guys to start how you ask me. I'm gonna do the same thing that I've just taught you. All I'm gonna do is what I just taught you. Okay. When you ask me to analyze the chart, what do? I'm gonna go 15. Okay. Below the cloud. You're gonna see me do this every time. It's just like me hopping in an airplane I look at what a correction looks like. Okay. Below the cloud, below the cloud, below the cloud. All right. Overall sell. Right. I hope you're sell. Or did you say did I see a buy on there? Oh, you were in a buy. Well, you know what this is. Okay. I don't know where you bought at, but you know what this is already. I don't think I even have to tell you. Okay. So if you're in a buy, you already know. Okay. So yeah, it may. Now, could this push back up and correct? Yeah, it can correct. Okay. I'm not. This is the no man's land that I tell you that you don't want to be in, because you don't know if it's going to push up. You don't know if it's going to impulse, if it's going to continue down. Okay. So what I guess I suggest is you put a stop loss somewhere that you're comfortable with, that if it gets to this point, then I'm out. You should definitely have a stop loss set at some point. Okay. And say I'm out at this point. But this is overall downtrend. Okay. And we look at the daily, look at this. That's a downtrend. Could it correct back up? Absolutely. Absolutely. I just can't tell you when. Okay. So set a stop loss, make the decision. I can tell you see that continuation happening right there. Right. Go to the currency strength meter. Right. Same checklist stuff. Right. Go as if you're trading. If you're going in for that trade. GBP, CHF. That looks like a sell to me. Okay. And there it is. Same thing, right? All you can do is the same thing. 15, right? This is sideways inside the cloud. 1 hour, sideways, 4 hour, right? So it's pretty much, you know, this is a flag that's forming. Okay. Day chart, it's gonna be below the cloud. Okay. Flag, downtrend, overall downtrend right now. Okay. Now, it does not mean that you can't buy, because when we look at the day chart, you see this right here, this is an indication that before, so several things can happen here. This is where it can come either stop there or it can come all the way up, okay? And it can do this. Remember, we're not proactive in the market, we're reacting to what the market gives us, okay? So that's what possibly can do. It does confirm with here, you see this little dip right here. It does let me know that there's going to be a pullback at some point that's going to do that, and it's going to bring it up to this point, and then it'll finally come down. Okay, so that's what I see. So don't know yet, it's sideways, so this can either come back down or it can reverse back up. So you got to let it go through the process. The three numbers you still place on your phone, it's still going to be 6, 13, 26. So still put 6, 13, 26 if you're using the cloud in your phone, and it'll be fine. It'll still put it in the same area. So with your strategy, is there a 100% pullback every time, wanting to take 10 pips on the pullback and 20 plus pips in the, so no, sometimes we go, I mean, for those who've been on a call, most of the time we go directly into profit. Sometimes we get caught in a pullback like now. So I can't control the market. Sometimes it just does what it's going to do, and we just react to it. So every time I just react to what I'm going to do in the market. So if I can, I go in, like I said, I'll put that second position at the top of the pullback. Once I go through steps 3 through 5. So I have to get the retest of an area. Price has to start moving down in my direction, like in a confident way. So right now, price is not moving down in a confident way yet. But once it starts moving down in a confident way, I'll secure a second position. So we're good. You have an opportunity right now, once price does start moving down, to at least secure 20 pips coming down in this trade that we're in. So I did. So Lamar, I do take trades in the H1 and H4, but I still go through the same process. I still look at 15 to the day chart. Right? So, and I think I've answered that. How far up? How do you know how far up or down you can take a trade? So I look at the money line, right? The money line is what I look at, which is, let's talk about what the money line is real quick. So let me just do this. What is that? This is your candles, right? The blue line is your candles. Don't look the same. So the money line is really your candles, but it's just a way for you to see it easy without having to look at wicks and all that good stuff. You just look at the money line, right? Money line, it can easily, that's the one the Japanese created. They created it so you can easily look at what was your previous low, what was your previous high, right? It's my previous high here, low down here. Okay. So that's how you can see how low the market is going to go, and then based off what time frame you're using. So here, for example, let's say if I was going to do a trade, this would be like the first target we can go to. So that's 50 pips right there. So that's how you would kind of gauge this and look at it. If we were going for the reversal back up, right? That would be like, you see this one right here, first target, you know, that right there, and then up there. Okay. So I'm just kind of rolling through, seeing if I see any significant questions here. I know when Jiku was talking about the Kumo twist, I don't know how it says how many pips should one angle for in the Kumo twist. I don't use the Kumo twist is just an indicator for me, so it's a confirmation. So something like this, for example, you see this right here, it's coming down, right? Consolidated. Then what did you get? You got a Kumo twist here, but then it came back sideways. Okay, so it did twist. It came up. So what's going to happen is this is going to come down again. So if this is when you're going to see this, if this comes down again, that's going to give us our indication that we're going to get our drop. Let me see if we got anything with AUD-JPY. Let's take a look at that one. Let's talk about that twist. It's none better than going a real life scenario. Okay, let's talk AUD. Is there a Kumo twist happening here? Absolutely not. Not even close, right? Let's look at the 1 hour if we have a twist. Nope, no twist on the 1 hour. Let's look at the 15-minute if we have a twist. Okay. We entered somewhere around here. Oh, no, we entered here. Okay, we entered here, and then we got in this correction here. Actually, it twisted back under. So what happens is we got our twist back under. So this is going to be our drop here. Okay, so yeah, so you see this, the green line cross under, we got our twist back under. That's it. So it's just an indicator, just something to give you a warm fuzzy of what's happening in the market. The best indicator you always have, obviously, as you get better, is your eyeballs. Okay, so we're 5 minutes past our time here. I want to take this a little bit any longer. Tomorrow, maybe we might have a bigger question session, but that's our time. So right now we're in AUD-JPY, we're in NZD-JPY. You can see them kind of coming down now. Just close your phone up. That's what I want you to do, is close your phone up. All right, and I might take a look at it. I'm not worried about this trade is going to come down. And then also you got AUD-USD. I want you to write that down. EUR-AUD. Stay looking at that. Analyze the charts just like this. If it meets the criteria, once we out of these trades, go into the trade. And then remember, this is a doubles game. A doubles game is this. If you can double a $125 account to $250, then you can easily double a $2,000 account to $4,000. You're just going to do the same thing you did with $125. You're going to do the same thing with a $2,000 account. Same type of percentage of the account. That's the only difference. Okay, so if you're able to double your account in 1 week, guess what? You're going to double a big account in 1 week. And so it's a doubles game. So in our group Breakfast Club call, the Breakfast Club session, we are playing this doubles game. So if you got your first double, congratulations. You know, some people have already got their third and second double. So go ahead and let us know if you've doubled your account. This is my second double. This is my fourth double. I'm going to drop a double sheet in there. Go ahead and just check that off and follow by that. And I hope that one day, you know, there's some 5-figure traders created, there's some 6-figure traders created, and there's some 7-figures created. And I want you to create it not from taking signals. I want you to create it because you start doing the work. You start making it happen. You start understanding the charts here. So that's our time, folks. Let me go ahead and stop the recording here. This session will be placed on the YouTube, my YouTube. Find me on YouTube.